Ladies and gentlemen, by that stripper music, you know it is time for Cuck News. And we have a Thanksgiving
Overdrive.
special here today, as we like to do weekly shows, and those will be on Thursdays. And we're pre-recording this one because
Overdrive.
by the time this is uploaded, we'll all be out getting diabetes. And no, this show's not
No, I
called
already have it. What are you
Overdrive.
talking about?
The show's not called Overdrive at all. It's
Super-
just what Bryce
super
decided
duper
to call it.
overdrive.
And if you're still confused on which one Bryce is, look at the one in the middle that looks autistic, and that's how you know. Now,
Yeah, ladies, you want to hit me up? 623-664-2324.
the only ladies that hit you up is the ones running the suicide hotline. Now,
I'm okay.
now,
Jeez.
as this is the Thanksgiving special, I think we all need to talk about Thanksgiving here a little bit. What's your favorite part about Thanksgiving, Bryce?
What can I say? I'm typical American, the food.
What about you, Wyatt?
The orgy.
All right, now what about you, Larry? I gotta tell you, Bubby, I just like seeing my hot cousins.
Same
So-
ways.
Yeah, so we're all pretty much on the same page.
Yeah, now that we're all on the same page, Thanksgiving
I got
is
a question.
a. Interrupt me one more time, and see where the fuck you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Anyway, what is your guys' favorite memory of Thanksgiving?
I know what mine is.
Oh
Okay,
God.
Larry, you go first.
I was in the basement, and I tell you what, I just ate myself a big old piece of turkey, big old piece of pumpkin pie, and out of nowhere, my cousin gives me a look. And I mean, myself, being the sex painter I am, I knew what that look meant. So I raped her. Needless to say, I didn't know what the look was, and I spent 10 years in jail.
We, you need to put in at the beginning of this video, trigger warning.
Who do I need the trigger warning for, Bryce?
Larry. Well, all of us, really. Just
No,
wait
no.
till we get later.
Like, who would get offended
Oh.
by that?
10 minutes.
I set you up to do your fucking voice, and you didn't even do it.
You said I wasn't gonna do this episode.
Well, I made a plug. Anyways, let's just go. Okay, let's just continue with what I was saying. That was like the worst sidetrack ever, thanks to the autistic
Yeah.
fruitcake.
Fuck you. I
I think I called you autistic and gay. Heyo. But yeah. So
Overdrive.
Thanksgiving is a holiday about history. That's, I mean, very
Yeah.
rich in history. So we kind of thought maybe this episode, instead of boring you to death with Cherokee and pilgrims and just talking about rape the whole time and food, we would
Smallpox.
we figured we would go into just history, just the history of the world. We can talk about just about anything on this podcast since it's a special edition. It'll be a little bit extended, like my
It's gonna end up
penis
being like
fresh
20
off
minutes.
of Viagra. All right, who wants to start us off here, Bryce?
I do.
There you go.
Okay, a little stupid history for you. So, Great Wall of China, right?
Yeah.
They end that thing like a foot on, onto the ocean, and the Mongolians just went around it. Next.
That was so awkward. You're like an
Yeah,
awkward
I'm giving
history
history
teacher trying to
facts.
be hip.
This is an educational program, damn it.
By the way, we don't practice before we go on air, so that's why there's all these awkward moments. This is a podcast, not a TV show. But
Dude, we should make a TV show.
the most important part of history, really, or not most important part, I would say most interesting part, is just is the conspiracy theories you hear. Like, you'll hear a lot about history, Abraham Lincoln, and then, like, for example,
JFK did 9/11.
Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, but then you'll hear, people who haven't experienced that, like kind of say, what if there was this alternate reality? Like, what if this happened instead? And sometimes they can provide facts with them, and as we've seen before, sometimes they turn out to be dumbass memes. But Wyatt, you have any conspiracy theories or that involve history you'd like to talk about, or just any conspiracy theories in general?
Nope. Let's start with the retard. Bryce, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Okay. Speaking of what Logan was saying earlier, like alternate universes that are pretty much ours, but little tweaked, like example, Abraham Lincoln in our universe freed the slaves. What if in a different universe he didn't, and there's still slavery? I swear to God, I think that's true, because the universe is too big, and there's black holes and time warps, and it's real.
The thing with alternate universes is we've like the theory of them. I don't know the history of when the theory originated or anything, but it seems like that has something to do with like cartoons and stuff though. Like Rick and Morty would be a perfect example of it, right? It kind of uses the alternate universes thing a lot, and I feel like the media can do one thing like that, and then people will freak out, and then they'll be like, "Oh shit, that's true." Look, Adventure Time told me it was, so that means it happened. And then
It dated back way
chain
longer than
reaction.
2010.
Chain reaction. I wasn't meaning literally 2010 though. I was giving an example. That's why I said as an example. But the reason we call you autistic is because autistic is a compliment for you.
I'm scared of autistic people.
Oh my God.
Conspiracy. I think autistic people are the devil.
You sound serious, and if you are, you will be kicked off of this show. Continue, Wyatt.
Whoa, for all the things we say, I'm not being serious about them being the devil, but I am scared of them, because they're strong, and they don't know what the fuck's going on.
That is... Bro, I don't really know if we can keep that in. I'm serious.
Severely autistic people.
No, I think it's fine. I mean, we had a white dude say the N-word last episode.
What kind of racist would say that?
I know. I think it's entirely possible. Back, to the alternate, multiple universe theory, and not the autistic person. I think it's possible because I think, if we're able to create a black hole, which we haven't been able to do yet, but if we are able to, it's said to be that inside that black hole is another universe. And then you can create another black hole in that universe, and you can continue to go through. So I think it's entirely possible that there are multiple universes. But I don't know that... there's duplicates of Earth. I feel like it's just... I don't know. I feel like going through a black hole.
I feel like... I didn't mean to interrupt.
It wouldn't be like a different universe. It'd be like an extended universe, I feel like. So that's what I think.
I feel like going through a black hole would just kill you. That's really...
Well, yeah, probably.
That's
See, though,
the
we
premise
don't
of
know,
that.
and that's what, like, honestly, that's good, like, really good chance of what would happen, but, like, we don't know, and that's what makes it so fascinating.
That's the whole premise of conspiracy theories is the unknown, but I want to say that confidently, but I can't really, because some conspiracy theories have no fact drive at all and use false facts. Like, okay, I watched literally 100% serious today. Watched a video claiming that there is an alien base on the moon, and it claimed Neil Armstrong is the one who revealed it, and a bunch of false information, and it showed an image of what looked to be an alien base on the moon, but it was actually a space simulated base. That's just, people can manipulate the facts, and that's really where I think a lot of these conspiracy theories come from, is one person will say something to their audience will hear it, they'll spread it out, and it just keeps growing bigger.
I agree, but there's one conspiracy theory that has the most backbone of evidence. Okay, so people say the Earth is round, but if it's round, then why are maps flat?
Shut the fuck up.
That's not even a conspiracy theory. That is just flat
Being
out.
dumbass.
That's flat out autism.
Yeah. Whenever people say, oh, back in the 1600s or whatever, people thought the Earth was flat. Like, even then, very little people thought that. Like, it was like way before that they thought it, and then they're like, oh, well, wait a second, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the rapper B.O.B. Have you heard of him? Yeah, probably not. He claims that the Earth is flat, and that's literally what I'm saying. Like, someone like that can spread that out to their audience, and boom, you have people with dumb information. And I mean, do you have any more conspiracy theories you'd like to talk about? Any like interesting ones that have a purpose, not the Earth is flat?
Like, okay, there's this like celebrity. Well, it's about shit, what's his name? The famous guy that was that's in the Scientology.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah, Tom Cruise, like that. That he sends out people to like for people to interview these women, and if they sign the contract, then like they have to be married for like 5 years, and they get paid however much, and then like if they birth a child, it's an extra so much money. Then after 5 years, they can go. And like, it sounds really stupid, but like, I kind of believe it.
Oh no, it's absolutely retarded.
We could. No, like, I kind of want you to dispute your points. Like, Bryce, you have a counterclaim to that?
Like, I mean, I have facts, but like, it's just stuff from another person, so it's not.
Well, yeah, that's how information is gathered.
Well, I know.
That's
like,
the premise
okay.
of information. You get it from another person.
Shane Dawson.
Oh my god.
said, like, he's been to Hollywood, a few times. He had an agent, and he said that, like, whenever he heard about it and he asked them, he said, whenever he asked the agents in Hollywood, like, if that's true, he said, I fucking believe it. So a lot of people believe it. Doesn't mean it's true, but
that's not really facts then, though. Like, facts to base your point. Yeah,
that's why I said, like, facts. There's one thing, like, it's not a conspiracy at all, but like, it fucks up my mind. Okay, so you know how every living thing is made up of cells?
Yeah.
Like, okay, cells cannot be destroyed or created. If they can't be created, what the fuck? Oh, wait, you two are... Oh, well, that sounds stupid now, but from my perspective, fucking cray-cray.
Okay. For everyone wondering, is what he was about to say is he was going to tie that into religious beliefs, but we have different beliefs on that stuff. That's why he said that. That would have been awkward to anyone who watched that and you didn't explain it to.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I had no idea where you were going with that.
I didn't either, really. I was confused with him.
All right, you want to hear? All right, let's. Where were you going, Bryce?
Like, I don't know, like, cause I learned this in science, like, for the last couple days, and like, from my perspective, like, it's crazy. Okay, like with you guys, you'd be like, oh god, created everything, and that's cool, but I mean, like, for me, like it doesn't make sense at all. But then, from my perspective, other people would be like, oh, well, it's obviously God. But from my perspective, like, isn't a... Wait, should we even be getting to religious stuff?
No, I
Is that
think
cool,
this is
or...
perfect. This is like the
Okay.
biggest conspiracy theory topic ever.
Yeah.
How the Earth was created.
Yeah, because like I was looking up some conspiracy theories, and one was like a Jesus conspiracy theory, and like I didn't want to say it because I don't like bashing other religions, especially when I'm not. Like I'll bash atheists and stuff. I'm agnostic, by the way, guys.
What the
But
fuck is that?
okay. By definition, like atheists don't believe in anything, and they think that like, oh, you're a Christian, you're a fucking dumbass. Agnostics are, I don't believe in anything, but you do you, boo.
Agnostics are
fuck do we
basically
label somebody?
undecided.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm undecided, really. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if in 10 years I'm Christian or fucking Buddhist or Confucius.
Well, I think if we're kind of going into this piece, we could kind of explain some things like, okay, continue though, finish your statement.
I'm pretty much done. Just that stuff blows my mind because, from my perspective, there's nothing like at one point there had to be nothing, and did that nothing like become so much of nothing it became something and just expanded?
So that's the thing with the Big Bang Theory is
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like the two I can't say they are the two most popular. I think they definitely are in America, right?
Yeah,
Atheism and Christianity are the two most popular. I think. Anyways.
I think. Well, real quick, I just want to say, I think it's like just almost like 50-50 in the United States between people, people believing in God and then people not. And I think
it's
obviously
slowly
the most
turning
popular is
away.
Christianity.
It's
Yeah.
slowly turning away. I mean,
Yeah, like
the more liberal our country becomes, the less Christians we'll have. That's fact.
yeah, like I remember seeing something like last year, something like could be pretty much off, but I'm pretty sure like it's like Christianity in America is like like I think it's a little over 50, and then atheism and like all those I don't believe in anything are like 35 or something, and then everything else just falls into place.
I think it's more of the more facts that come out and the more scientific evidence that comes out, I think the more people turn away from it.
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of that and the media again. Literally, the media is slowly becoming so liberated. There's no open-minded people like ourselves anymore, especially in a top media spot. Like there are very few. You will find very, very few, and it's like people like us who don't really even have an audience. We could be making a pretty big impact on people, but instead it's like things like we said before, like the Young Turks or BuzzFeed, who will like kind of manipulate their opinions, and it gets forced onto people. I mean, it's just a constant chain, really. It's some people don't have a mind of their own, and they learn. They go based off of what they're told.
Now, I do agree with that on a lot of things, but religion, I think that's the main one where people actually decide to come up with the mind of their own. A lot of other things people follow, and that's just the thing. It's simple, and that's the way they go. But
I feel like that's how you have to be. I just am not so sure that that's how it is.
In my opinion, I think I really lean towards I think scientific evidence and stuff is what people turn away from with religion, or and stuff like that, or people, and you got to think, well, people may say, oh, scientific evidence, I don't believe in God, and then their kids, they don't teach it to them, so they grow up not believing it. So I think it's that too, but I think it's just 100 years ago there wasn't a lot of evidence to it, so you said you read the Bible, they preached this and you believed it, because you didn't really know, well, could this be maybe fake or not? And now that there's more evidence, more people can say, well, this could be fake because of this or something like this, or maybe evolution. People think, well, it just kind of makes sense that you would evolve from whatever, an ape or something like that. I think evidence definitely uh, can shift religion and stuff a lot more
Now,
than other things.
I have religious beliefs, but this is the one thing that no one, like, the Christian Bible is like, the only reason it explains, or the only way I should say, not reason, the only way it explains creation is God created it, and God was already the starting piece. But like science, like, depending on how you believe in that, there are so many unanswered questions. Like, there's the easy route, which has your one answered question. You can still read up on it and see what you believe in. Or you have the science route, which you just go down and you have many unanswered questions. Like for example, the Christian Bible, like I just said, God is already the starting piece. But with with believing in evolution, you know, there's we don't know how the starting piece got there. That's the thing. That's the problem. And
I
it's hard to believe that anyone will find out. Do you kind of see my point there?
yeah, I have a question. Uh, do you guys think that I don't think this. I'm just saying before I say because this makes me laugh because it's so stupid. Do you guys think that humans and dinosaurs like lived together at one point?
No.
Logan?
I honestly have not touched on that part of history enough. I really have not been taught that part of history.
Okay, well, it's pretty much by every every scientist of any kind will say no, because I mean that's what I think and that's what I always thought. But like up until last year, like I didn't think anyone thought that, but I guess like or at least from my perspective, like all the only people I've heard from are like hardcore Christians. So like I, I don't know if I don't think there's anything in the Bible about it, but like I I guess hardcore Christians believe that us and dinosaurs lived side by side.
Mm, the way you
It
worded
doesn't.
that, you might want to backstep the way you worded that.
Dude, I don't think that's true. I don't understand why a hardcore Christian would believe that.
Yeah,
I
that's what I was saying. He might want to change the
I
way he worded that
Because
because
that
you
doesn't
don't.
really.
Yeah,
I mean from my experience, the only people who have
okay.
said that are hardcore Christians. So
With the Bible, it kind of talks it like if you can pay attention to the time period it talks about. Like we've had it even if you don't want to read out on it. It's been made into films and documentaries and everything. The time period it shows, you know, it like it really goes into detail describing like with Abraham and stuff. That's obviously a different time period than dinosaurs. That's all like completely noticeable with everyone. I mean,
yeah.
you have things like horses and mule cattle, stuff like that. So I think most people should know, and I think most people honestly do know that you know it's not the same time period.
Oh yeah. One of the reasons. Oh well, first before I say this, like I know, I think it was Wyatt who said like he didn't actually say, but he was just going through things about what other possibilities could be besides God, or like at least that's how I thought. And you said like evolution from apes, like for us, and that no, because evolution works as like you know, oh this thing can't fly, but it has to fly to fucking or okay, say something has to climb a tree um to get food, so the ones that can't climb die off, and then the ones that can climb kinda or can like mate, and then over time skill climbers and stuff. So and then so the past species like dies out into like a new kind.
You don't believe that, or you do?
I don't. Or like I believe in evolution, but I don't believe we
Well,
evolved from apes
no
because
matter no
apes are
matter
silly.
no matter what you believe in, you have to believe in evolution of some form. If you're a Christian, you have to believe in evolution. Obviously, it not that direct kind of evolution, not like the Darby kind of evolution though. I'm just saying like the main premise of it is you slowly change. I mean, that's 100% obvious. If I hang out, okay, let's say the people I hang out with are hardcore liberals. Guess what? I'm probably going to slowly turn into them. But if you look at us three, we talk all the time, and our three personalities are, I mean, look how close they are. You know what I mean? You kind of pick up a piece of what surrounds you, and I think that's the kind of evolution I believe in. But I still have my like Christian beliefs. I
I,
I just can't necessarily say what you were talking about. Just go with it.
now,
Oh,
real quick, let me just jump in.
Yeah.
I when I think of evolution, I would think of something more along the lines of uh, just two. How do I want to say this? When I think maybe two separate animals or two different types of animals, or two different versions of an animal mating, and then you know they're you know the how do I want to say this? That's what I mean. That's what I think. I think it's two separate animals or two separate species of animals mating, and then you know, their kid, I guess, is is a different species kind of. It's a combination of those two, and it will. I don't know how I'm saying this the best way to say it, but that's what I think.
The
I
thing
think
with that is with people that don't fully believe it or do fully believe that that's just how we're here, we still don't have the starting piece. That's the problem. That's what gets a lot of people not to believe in that, and that's really the main doubter with that specific belief. I feel like Bryce, you would probably have a good say in this, since you don't don't like swing to one side. You don't have a belief.
about
Evolution, the thing we just
yeah.
talked about.
I mean, like uh, this is what I've heard and kind of read, and what I kind of think is like I have no idea how everything started, but like over time, what I think happened was like, okay, so at one point, like a long time ago, like humans and apes were like basically the same thing, but apes stayed in one place, and like some of them stayed in one place, and some of them like migrated somewhere else. So like in that other place, they had to lose some fur. They had to become maybe less less hairy and learn how to like stand upright. Versus the ones that stayed in the trees and stuff, had to be able to pretty much stay the same but evolve a little bit to be able to climb trees faster and do all the stuff apes do, really.
Wait, so you're kind of confusing me here. Are you saying you do agree with that? Like you believe that?
I believe that like at one time, like we were the same thing, but then it like branched off.
I could definitely I think that's the best explanation for it, or for the best explanation for evolution.
Yeah.
The
For us and apes.
my problem with that is I know this is the most generic question to like dispute that, but like, wouldn't you think there's no final form really, right? Like, how come we haven't seen other things evolve like before our own eyes?
because it takes a long time to evolve, and like studies have shown, I think it's mosquitoes are now becoming. Oh, okay, well, for example, viruses, they're becoming immune to drugs, to certain types of drugs, so they won't die from that.
A lot of things are becoming immune to different types of drugs. But to the Logan's question, maybe like why haven't we evolved or something like that? Is that
Well,
what you're trying to say? Maybe.
That's kind of, yeah. I mean, that's
All right.
Well,
what
Well,
I'm
it
saying.
well, even if
takes.
that's not what you're trying to say, I'll just go ahead and jump on and say this real quick. I think humans probably have evolved. I mean, they definitely
From the caveman
from
times have for sure.
yeah, because I mean things. I'm pretty sure like from bones we've seen skulls get bigger, which could represent bigger brains, bigger brain capacity and all this. And um, if what Bryce is saying about you know traveling or something like that having to do with evolution, about exploring a different place, then we wouldn't really need to evolve anymore from what we are now. From movement, from mental capacity, maybe yes, we could still evolve because there are so many different things that we could learn or stuff like that. But I don't think travel wise evolution of, we have to, oh, there's this new thing that we have to do, or, which
We're not really
I
faced with any challenge. I get your point.
yeah,
I think that
yeah.
was a really good. No, I mean, like, I think that was a great answer to that question. I really do.
Yeah, that was. But like, like what I was saying, like instead of how like it used to be where we had to adapt to the environment, we're adapting the environment to us. Now, so we don't need to make any we don't need to make any physical changes, as in like movement or like the way we walk or something like that. But like
Hold
I
on real quick. That's fucking genius, what you just said.
I heard it somewhere. I forget where.
Oh,
I was
because
proud
it
of
I think it
you.
might
sounded
have been
really
my
good.
teacher.
I was proud of you.
Yeah, I think. But like yeah, I think the things we will like, you know, might be 1,000 years, 2,000, 50,000. I don't know. Like our like brains will get smaller because our brains will like learn how to like work like work the same or more or a higher capacity just in a smaller like uh system. Like I don't know if that makes sense. Like a
It makes
smaller,
sense.
This
yeah.
I mean,
this
just look
might
at
be an ignorant statement, but like, you know how we were just talking about why you brought up the point of like bones have gotten bigger and skulls have gotten bigger. Also, couldn't that be like, just in terms of, okay, with obviously if you look at some of the older humans, it the height is gradually increasing, right? Obviously it is.
Yeah.
Um, could that be because of how well fed people are, possibly?
Yes.
How
That.
how how many resources they're getting? They're like, it's almost like
and the new
D
resources.
it's almost like the opposite of evolution. It's like backstepping, if you think about it, because we're not having to adapt to the environment, like you just said. The environment's adapting to us.
Yeah, and like the reason, like Fisher Weiss said this after you said, like the reason we're getting bigger is because like it, instead of just eating to survive, we're eating to survive and then more.
Entertainment, yeah, entertainment, boredom. I mean,
Yeah, and
And
then
plus, real quick, before you jump
yeah,
onto a different thing, we're eating different things. Humans used to eat
oh yeah, we're
meat,
eating
really.
chemicals
We're
now.
eating, yeah, but we're also eating a combination of stuff. Uh,
hmm
or things that we can grow now, like dough. they didn't used to eat dough or bread or anything like that, but now there's so many other things that are coming into play, and stuff like that.
And
Yeah,
also, like to add on to what you said, foods aren't made to fill you. You know, we put a false limit on how much we're supposed to eat. You know, people go based off of standards. They say you're supposed to have 2,000 calories. Okay, 2,000 calories of what? You know, our food isn't like that anymore. Whenever they take a steak, right? A clean, lean, healthy steak from a cow. Don't do anything to it. Look at that compared to a manufactured one that's been juiced up with chemicals that are just simply designed for your flavor, not for what's good for you. Like that probably has something to do with the growing process in us and how we
yeah.
react to it, how our bodies react to it, stomach acid, how easy you digest.
Oh, I read somewhere that like, okay, and this, I think this makes sense to me because like um like a long time ago, we used to have a lot of hair, but now we're losing it. Now we only have it on like our head, eyebrows, and
Realistically,
wherever
if you
else.
think we have hair, men have hair pretty much everywhere. If you think,
Well, yeah,
it's just not as much.
yeah, but like what I read was like we'll slowly like grow less hair because like the reason we had so much hair like a long time ago is because we were outside or in like little huts that would get cold, but now we have heating and the fireplaces, all that stuff, so we don't need as much hair.
That just really goes back to that theory. The thing I was talking about chemicals and stuff, and like how your bodies get used to the new foods as opposed to like a lean like protein or something like that. A perfect example of that. I mean, we've all been like hooked on caffeine before at least once. Like, I mean, I used to drink like 4 or 5 big bottles of Mountain Dew a day, and now I'm like switched to like water, and I'll occasionally have like an energy drink here and there. Um,
Yeah.
I used to get headaches if I would go without having like 5 Mountain Dews or something like that, which is terrible for your body, but it's because of how used I was to the caffeine. But once I just really like, I don't want to say punish, I'm trying to think of the word, train myself, I guess, to get away from that. I don't get headaches because of I have a low amount of caffeine anymore. Like it just shows you slowly get used to stuff and adapt to it. But
Oh yeah,
that
your
being
body is amazing.
that being said, that's not me saying I believe in like the Darby like explanation of evolution on how the world was created.
You mean Darwin or
Is that what I've been? Yeah, that's probably
shit?
my bad.
Well, the
I'm
first time
not.
he said it, I was like, I think he's trying to say someone else, and then like once we started talking about evolution, I'm like, oh, Darwin.
Yeah, my bad. It's been a while since I've touched on that exact subject. I've kind of like slightly touched on it here and there, and then just you know heard enough of it to get my own opinion on it. Really,
Yeah, like I love history.
history and science are always neck and neck. I mean, it's right. Science is explains. You know, science explains history in a way if you think about it.
Yeah, and well, like science can explain a lot of things, like explain the past, can explain the future, and like I don't know, I just love looking back at history and thinking where we came from then to where we are now to where we're going to be in 100 years.
Now, back to the more conspiracy theory topic. I was telling Wyatt today that I watched a video titled "Are We Living a Computer Simulation?" and it's I mean it's a really interesting thing because like it explains how random this world is, and once you are first introduced to this world, everything is random to you. You know what I mean? Like really understand anything yet. But the more facts and just the more you learn about it, the less random it becomes. It's insane to think about, really. I probably didn't
Yeah.
explain it as good as the video would, but it's
I've
honestly
watched videos like
crazy.
that, so I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I'll if I remember to, I'll link a video in the description that I was referring to.
Like, my friends and I at lunch, like, have talked about, like, something like that before, where we're like, yeah, we're not, like you said, like, maybe a computer simulation type of thing or something like that. And, like, it's crazy because, like, you don't know, like, you wouldn't know if you know, if that was the case.
I mean, either people are like you and they don't really have an answer and they're just like they don't know, or there's people that are like, well, I guess if there was a computer simulation that we were living, they would have it programmed to where we wouldn't question it. You know what I mean?
That would seem like a thing.
That's how a lot
Do,
of people are.
do you think like everything in life is set up and like but maybe like your death is like, I don't know, your death is already kind of somehow known,
Predetermined.
or yeah, it's already known like by your time you're born or something like that. And the reason I bring this up is because so many things happen in life that are so coincidental that you're just like, that just doesn't make sense. So what's your opinion on that?
I mean,
Especially Bryce too.
Firstly, before I'm gonna let Bryce answer that question first because I still need a second to think on it. But that really ties into religion a lot, and not only religion, that ties into Scientology. That ties into a lot of things. So I mean, that question, if we found the answer to that question, I think we would have the answers to a lot more questions, and we would really solve the debacle between, Christianity versus atheism versus blah 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 everything else. We have a lot of other
Yeah.
things, and whenever I say blah blah blah, by the way, I just want to quickly point this out. I'm not disrespectful of any beliefs. I respect every belief. Continue, Bryce.
Yeah, I just realized this is supposed to be a comedic show, I think.
Well,
I don't know.
it's a special though. I mean, we're kind of showing we can be serious, but
Yeah.
that's
Like
the
with
thing where we don't pre-plan these. We just go off the top of our heads. We get in conversations and we discuss them. That's what a podcast is.
Yeah, because like after you said blah blah and you were like explaining yourself, I said, no need to explain. Yeah, everyone. I don't know. I was gonna say something funny, man.
But do you
Anyway.
have your answer to that question?
What was Wyatt's question again? I lost track.
Do you think things in life are predetermined? I mean, the reason I say this is things just happening that are so coincidental, or
I get
just
you.
things like that. Yeah.
Like, are things like, because they're, yeah, like I see what you say, because like sometimes I'm like, oh no, it's not playing out, but then other times like there's such coincidences that it starts to get a little hazy. Like maybe it is. Like I honestly don't know because, like, fuck.
But just like things, if you look back in your life, all the good things and the bad things, that just like those things happened, and in some way they've benefited, or they either benefited you or they
They did
hurt
the
you in
opposite,
some way.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like and it's everything. Like everything that happens really can
That really ties
set
into the
something off.
parallel universe thing too. Like, okay, one, I don't know the exact term for this, but it's a large chain reaction, right? The butterfly effect is what it is. That's what I was thinking of. All right.
Oh my god, that.
This, let's say, okay, I had a crazy day today. All right, I went to school and I had ISS. This is true. I had ISS. What if I didn't have ISS? How many things in this day would be changed? Would we be recording this now? Like one little thing can change everything, and that really benefits your answer. I mean, I don't have an exact answer to that question, but I mean, I feel like people with religious beliefs, Wyatt, would tend to think yes is the answer to your question, that everything is kind of predetermined. It's in a higher power's hands, but I feel like a lot of people just simply don't know.
Yeah, and like, you know what's I've been thinking about that's so crazy? We've been asking all these questions, and like, all of these could have an answer, but you know the one question that's never going to be answered?
What's that?
The purpose of life.
That's that's a false question in my opinion. Do you want me to answer that question for you right now? I'll answer it for you right
Actually,
now.
hold on, real quick. How about everybody give their? You can say yours, and then whatever. I'll say mine, and then Bryce can say his on just the purpose of life and our opinion.
I think that's
Let's
good.
do that.
Yeah.
I think they're just
Alright.
opinions on the answer of life, though. Like,
That's you.
Oh yeah.
You really just stole my
Yeah.
answer. My
Yeah,
answer
that
is that's why I wanted to go first. My answer is
sorry.
there isn't an answer. There is an answer, but it's not like written in the stars really. You have to determine that for yourself. I mean, what would the meaning of life be to me? Would it be family? Would it be like love? Would it be, like I want to wrestle? Would it be that? I feel like you have to live your life and really get an understanding of what you enjoy, what you want to do. And I feel like for most people it's just be happy. But that's my
Yeah.
answer to the question, is you have to determine it for yourself.
Yeah, like, well, like, whenever I asked how I am, like, whenever I asked it, I imagined, like, just an overall, but for, like, it's your life, so the answer to your purpose in life is be happy, have, get bitches, whatever you want.
Well, what would your
You
answer
wanna
be?
go what?
What?
I mean, I don't think there is a purpose. I think I don't know. It's a weird question because it's like, well, what's your purpose in life? I don't know because I've never sat back and thought about it. What's my purpose in life? I don't know. To live. That's what I think. What is your purpose in life to do these certain things? Yeah, I'd like to do a lot of things in my life, but I don't know that that's what gives me purpose. I think what gives me purpose is just the fact that I don't know. It's just I'm living, so what gives me purpose is I don't know. It's a weird question. I don't know if that made any sense or not, but I don't think there's a certain thing in life that is like, oh, this is what my purpose of life is right here.
Yeah,
This is why I'm
basically
living.
right. That's
But
basically what me and Bryce think too. It's like
it's I don't think it's that way. The reason you're living is,
to die.
because, well, no, because someone's stuck a cock in the vagina, and you're here. That's how you're on Earth. Is there a purpose to life? I don't know. There's things you can do in your life, but your purpose is to live or not to live, I guess. That sounded super weird and deep, but I guess that's the best way for me to explain it.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
You know what I was thinking? Like whenever people ask me, what's my greatest, like, fear? I say, like, dying alone, but that's what I was thinking about it. That's not it. Like, it's not feeling fulfilled with your life, because, like, time might seem like it goes by slow sometimes, but it goes by fast. Like, you have, like, what's the average death age? Like,
Hey Siri, what's the
I
average
think
death age?
early 80s.
yeah, like, I was
Checking
thinking
my
75,
sources.
80.
The answer is about 71.5 years.
Oh,
I don't
It's-
agree with
it's-
that. I think that's.
I feel like
No.
it's slowly decreasing.
I think it's been increasing
yeah,
over
it's
the years.
increasing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yes, obviously, like thinking about it because of the higher supply rate, but I mean, from the massive increase that happened, this is really what I meant. Now that I'm explaining myself, I feel like it's going to decrease. That's really what I meant, because there's not a lot of higher supply that we need. Does that kind of make sense? Like, I feel like it definitely increased, but I don't think it will continue to increase.
I I think it will.
I just think there are too many things now. I mean, the more people you get, the faster disease spreads. But also, that being said, I'm not 100% certain in my answer here. The more people you get, the more cures, you know. But we have to understand the thing about living and dying is, if people, this might sound fucked up to say, if people do live very, very long lifespans, that could cause a problem with high population rates.
Yeah.
But
What?
we have more than enough land to supply us, and I mean, I don't think that will really be a problem.
Real, Bryce, were you going to give your opinion on
Um.
this? Or
Yeah. Like. Well, I was gonna say like. I think the way like not the world's gonna like um like it's not gonna be apocalypse, but I think a lot of people are gonna die is like overpopulation. Like I'm not saying we don't have enough land, but resources,
mm,
food, gas, all those things.
there's two things I want to get into real quick. I want to reply to Bryce, and we can all give our opinions on this. And then there's another thing I want to point up about resources. But in my opinion, like you said, apocalypse-wise kind of thing, or maybe like quote unquote end of the world, depending on how you look at that. I think that's going to be maybe to overpopulation, but just I think people's mindsets have changed so much over the years, and I think, how do I want to say this? Um, I think people turning on other people is what will cause the world to end, because I think people come so separated now, kind of, to life in a different way from humans, or they don't feel like, I feel like years back it was, um, like you knew your neighbor and all this. You were, I feel like it was just way more team human. Obviously, there was racism and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but I feel like, let's just say for just, let's say racism is going on through that time, even with just the white people, it was team human, I felt like, still more. And now it feels a lot more like team myself or team my country. And I feel like that's what will probably bring us down. And plus, there are a lot of really stupid people on this earth,
Yeah.
from two idiots just getting it on, and that's going to be a big problem when a stupid person, gets too much power, or when we try to give people too much power. Some people don't need power. All right, that's just the truth.
This sounds like a hardcore Donald Trump rant, but I
Yeah,
know
that's what
it's
I was
not.
saying.
I know it's not though.
Like whenever he said we don't need super people getting too much power, I was
Yeah,
like, oh no.
I don't think that's not what your rant is it?
No, I don't think Donald Trump's,
I don't either. Yeah.
stupid. I don't think anything's bad going to come of it. I'm talking stupid people. People that when you compare them to Donald Trump, you're like, oh, this guy's, an idiot. Um, but yeah, it's just some people don't deserve the power they're getting, or the power that people think they deserve, I guess.
Yeah.
Power
And,
needs, real quick, power is something that I think needs to be earned and not given to everyone for accessibility.
That's funny too, because our the reason our country is a country really is because we're not a monarchy anymore. That was our whole point. We're a republic. Power is not inherited. That was the whole point. It's power is supposed to be earned, but I mean, depending on what you believe in, that's not really the case. that is the only reason we're not a country in the same country as Canada. Really, it is because we will never agree on monarchy or a republic.
Yeah, but back to what you said, Wyatt, the like how it seemed in like years ago, you knew your neighbor, and now it's kind of one for it's just you versus everyone else, or certain group
Yeah.
versus other, yeah. And also I can see that like kind of ending the world or semi ending the world, because like like I could see uh like a big just battle or something. Like that sounds stupid, but like I feel like now people don't show as much mercy, because almost every night on the news, it's man fucking like burns his dog alive and eats it. It's guy stabs man like 72 times. Like it's like terrible, terrible stuff. But
It's something.
we hear it so much. It's just, oh, that happened.
Yeah, it's something that people get used to. It's like, I mean, people, get used to certain things, uh, and it just becomes normal. Like I know this is kind of, off topic, but like, gore and stuff. Some people are like disgusted by gore, which is something that would seem normal because it would be, I don't know. I feel like it'd be unexpected, but like I'll just throw this to The Walking Dead. Like I watched The Walking Dead, and there's a lot of gore in that, and then you think about it, and you're like, man, this is, or it's like season 7, which just aired, had people's skulls getting bashed in. Well, it was really gory, but then I said, I ended up watching it a few more times, and like it's no longer disgusting. It's like just with certain things we adapt to, and we no longer think, oh, that's disgusting. It's now just, oh, that's normal, just life. Like gore, that seems like
Yeah,
something you'd freak out about, but now not a lot of people freak out about it as much.
yeah. I think a lot of humans are becoming like dehumanized, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
they don't feel for another person.
No,
I
I
don't.
I agree, but I just think we're like we brought up, I don't know how long ago, because this has been a very long episode, but people really slowly change, and that's whether it's for the better or for it's the good. Like you can't deny that it's happening.
Yeah, but I don't think it's dehumanizing. I think there's nothing that says this is what human is. I think humans will always be us, and we will always continue to change our mindset, and we'll still be human. I don't think there's something that is set like, oh, this is what a human is, and we're slowly pulling away from being what that is. Uh, I don't think that.
Well,
With
on that
Uh,
note, are you guys ready to wrap it up?
I had one more thing I wanted to ask.
I'd like real quick. I wanted to just ask opinions on something real quick
All right. Well,
after
Bryce
Bryce.
Bryce will make his point, and you'll make that, and we'll end it there.
No, like I watched the movie, and it was like a comedy, so it doesn't really mean anything. But like I disagreed with this so much. This guy asked another person, "Do you think there's gray areas, or do you think people are good and bad?" And he said, "Oh, there's no gray areas. I think everyone's a gray area."
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I feel like everyone should think that. I really, everybody has their own individual character, whether it's influenced by another person or not. You are your own person. You make the decision for yourself at the end of the day. You control what you do, whether it's what's considered morally good or morally bad. It's what happens.
Because like you could raise money for charity 24/7, but may maybe you did something when you were younger that was bad, or you do something every night that's bad. It's, even though you're so good, you're still in a gray area.
All right. Now my thing real quick. Just we were talking about resources and stuff. What's your opinion on resources, and do you think we should hold off on them and stuff like this? Like, um, because recently like a lot of comets and stuff like that have some of the incredibly valuable resources on them that Earth does. Do you think we should keep mining up all these resources and stuff from Earth, such as coal and all this, or do you think we should slow it down and use these other resources and slowly mine up these other ones? What's your opinion on that?
I'll let you go first, Bryce.
Yeah. I think we should like. I don't think we should slow down on them. I think we should keep going how we are. But while we're doing that, we should try to get like solar or like water power or air power, like to be a main thing because number one, it's better for the environment. Number two, there's a lot more positive for like natural fuel than, well, I guess coal is. Okay, like water and air and stuff, that type of fuel versus mining up coal and stuff. And plus, eventually we're gonna run out, but it's not gonna happen soon because, I think I read this somewhere. I can't remember the exact year, but it was mid 19 let's just say 1950. It wasn't that, but it was somewhere in there. They said, oh, we're gonna run out of fossil fuels, and we're still going just how we did 50 years ago. So
it depends on not only population rate, but how we determine what's, we're not living to survive, like we've previously stated multiple times. We're not living to survive now. We're not planning to survive. We eat more than we should. We use more than we should. We don't have what was supposed to be the basic temperature. We will want to be warmer. We'll want to be colder. It just depends on that. But in the comments, if you have any answers to any of the questions, especially that last one there, definitely comment it and say your thoughts. Maybe you disagreed with us. Just go ahead and state it. But do you guys have any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
Shit, why you say something? Because I had what I thought, but I can't remember it right now.
Last thoughts? I don't know.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's a start.
Don't be retarded,
guys.
Yeah, drive safe. Be careful. Eat you ham. If you eat turkey, you're gay. Like and share this video. Try to get our opinions out to more people and try to increase our audience. But this was a little bit of a more serious one. And if you look at the time frame of our last one compared to this one, this was a special. We will have these specials whenever something pops up like Thanksgiving, and we'll also have debates on here. In a way, we had a debate on this. We just kind of explained our opinions.
Overdrive.
Conspiracy. Yo, hold up.
Dude.
You better hurry this.
Why?
Because.
Okay, so there's this blind psychic that says Obama would be the last president because he's going to expose aliens. And I guess this woman has she predicted her own death. She predicted wars. She a lot of stuff. But what do you guys think about that?
Well, I'll tell you what I think. That's all the time we have now. Thank you for tuning in. Go check out Let's Talk News YouTube. You can check them out on Twitter. You can follow Bryce Fout on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. I will have all the links below. And stay tuned to this channel, of course.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. And
Overdrive.
Fondle them titties.
Overdrive.
Well, hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. And good night.
Happy Overdrive.
Happy Hanukkah. Except for you
Merry
Jews,
Kwanzaa.
you don't get Hanukkah.